showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. Woo, woo, it's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you what is up, Bills Mafia. Today, I got the 8 storylines to watch for in the 2024 Buffalo Bills training camp in St. John Fisher. So, without further ado, let's get this thing started. And by the way, shout out to Bills Wire for creating this article. All right, here we go. Let's get to it. All right, first things first. Everything wide receiver related. Life without Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis leaves the Bills receiver room looking a lot different. At the top, the second-round rookie Keon Coleman. Does he immediately emerge as a top playmaker in the Buffalo offense? Or do other newly signed vets such as MVS, Curtis Samuel, or someone else see a larger influence? Look, the one thing they didn't mention was Khalil Shakir right there. I think Khalil Shakir, in my opinion, is going to be the number 1 receiver going into week 1. I think he will be the number 1 receiver throughout the season. I think he's a 1,000-yard receiver. I do. I think what you saw last year from Khalil Shakir and Josh Allen, that connection getting stronger and stronger towards the tail end of that season when Stephon Diggs was kind of in the back there, right? Going, what about me? Khalil Shakir was like, yo, you can't do it, right? You're dropping balls. You're not getting open. So I'm going to have to do it, right? And of course, that's not what he said, but but that's what he did. Khalil Shakir stepped up when Josh needed somebody to throw to. And unfortunately, Stephon Diggs and Josh just didn't have that going towards the second half of the season. Thank God Khalil Shakir and Josh Allen started to get that chemistry going, that connection. And I feel like it went into the playoffs. And you guys saw that. Khalil Shakir was making some unbelievable catches. And Josh was trusting him to in those playoff games, in the most important moments. And I think that's going to carry over to this season. So I'm fine. I think Keon Coleman will be just fine. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to be the man year 1. I think Keon Coleman in time will be the Bills' number 1 receiver, but just like Eric Moulds, who we drafted, I believe, in 96, wasn't the man right away. We still had Andre Reed on the team, right? It took Eric Moulds a few years to really get going with the Buffalo Bills. And then when he did, he was the man. And I'm not saying Khalil Shakir will just drop off after Keon Coleman. The best thing that could happen is Khalil Shakir has a 1,000-yard season, gets that connection with Josh. Keon Coleman starts to build it year 1 as rookie year and carries over in year 2. And then you got a 1-2 going there. And then at that point, it doesn't matter who's 1 or 2, right? Then you got 2 really good receivers on this roster. That's if Keon Coleman is what I think he can be. So I'm not worried at all going into the season with the receiver room. I think we got enough guys here for Josh to spread the ball to that are sure-handed. And we got guys that have been on the team like Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, Dawson Knox that know the offense, that know Josh very well. And, of course, like I said, you got guys that don't, like MVS. He's never played with Josh. Chase Claypool, Keon Coleman, obviously, he's a rookie. Right? Hollins. Right? Hamler, if he makes the team. So I get that part, but there's still reliable guys that have been on this team that know the offense, that know Joe Brady, that know Josh Allen, and that already have a connection with Josh. So I'm not concerned. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, Stephon Diggs. Guys, go back to last season. We were just fine with Stephon Diggs not even getting 100 yards over the last, 8 games of the season, something crazy like that. So clearly, and we were winning, by the way. So clearly it didn't affect the team. That Stephon Diggs wasn't even really a part of the offense that much. So I wouldn't worry. People don't even talk about that, by the way. They don't even bring that up when talking about Stephon Diggs leaving Buffalo and how, the offense is going to be terrible now. Guys, go back and look last year. Stephon Diggs did nothing. He didn't even get 100 yards, like I said, over the last 8 games of the season. He wasn't even the number 1 targeted receiver on the team. It was Khalil Shakir. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine with that. Let's get back to it. All right, next up. Other playmakers on offense. I just talked about that, so I'm going to skip that because I basically just ran that. I'm not going to repeat myself. All right, this is a good one. The O-line and Connor McGovern. All right, it says McGovern will move from guard to center, replacing Mitch Morse, who was released this offseason. How does McGovern handle the new position? Not only that, who starts at guard now? There are a few candidates, including David Edwards and Lyle Collins. I like Collins. But he has a little bit to prove. He's a veteran. I don't know if he'll get that starting job. I think David Edwards will. But I'm not too concerned about McGovern at center. That's his natural position. He played that in college. He's shown he could play it in the NFL. He did it a few times in Dallas, I believe. I'm okay with that. I'm more concerned about David Edwards. Though he started in LA, he has himself a Super Bowl ring, but he doesn't have a lot of experience there starting. So he filled in a couple times last year during the course of some games. He did okay, but once again, it's a full-time starter position now. I don't want to go through this musical chairs of offensive line. So hopefully, let's pray that it works out and that Edwards can fill that spot good until we figure out a better solution in the future. Because I don't think Edwards is the solution at guard. And it sucks. It sucks for Deion Dawkins. It does, because, man, he hasn't had the same guy next to him since he got drafted. Never. Every year it's a new guy. And it probably will be the case again after next season. I got to be honest with you. But, hey, maybe David Edwards will surprise us all, do very well, and then we don't need to even worry about that, right? So that's the only thing I would say it's a concern. Collins, I think he makes the team, but I don't think he starts. I think he's perfect to have it on the depth chart, a veteran that's been there, done that, but we'll see. We'll see when that time comes. I would still make an open competition, give him an opportunity, but yeah, I don't know. Which Von shows up? Yeah. Von Miller struggled in his return from a knee injury in 2023. He took a pay cut this offseason because of that. But Miller has to produce next year. He is the most established player in the bunch, and if he can lead the line, that will make life for Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, and the rest of the defensive line a lot easier. I agree, man. I totally agree with that. Let's all hope and pray that Von Miller shows us what he can do, like what he did in 2022 when we signed him, right? That's the Von we want back, because that Von, before he got hurt, was playing lights out. He looked like we were all like, damn, okay, perfect, great signing. Now, obviously, 2023, he came back too early. By the way, that's on him. I mean, I know he came out and kind of tried to almost say he was rushed back. I don't know where he was going with that, because he continued to say all off season last year that he was going to be going good for week 1. It was kind of like he was putting the pressure on himself. And maybe he rushed himself. Maybe he thought, because you know how it is, guys, when you get older, sometimes your mentally you still feel young. You still feel like you have it. You could, recover like the way you did back in the day. You still feel physically strong, but age, man, you can't defeat Father Time, man. And sometimes, man, you got to let that shit heal a little bit longer than before, because you're a little bit older. And I don't think he got that. He gets it now. So Von's completely healthy now. It's kind of like the Trey White situation when Trey came back too early, right? I just feel like Von's healthy now. I think we will see a better Von this season. I'm thinking 7 to 9 sacks, which is fine. Now he could do more. He could produce more. We'll see. But I think this camp will tell us a lot about Von in preseason as well. I wonder if I am assuming he'll play preseason. He should play at least a quarter, but we'll see what he does there in preseason. All right, back to it. How does the secondary play out? Of course, you got a pop-up here. Good old pop-up. Oh, there we go. How does the secondary play out? It's unclear who will start at safety right now. Life without Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde will be different at the position. But on paper, signs point towards veteran Taylor Rapp and Super Bowl winner Mike Edwards. There are also second-round rookie Cole Bishop to consider. At outside cornerback, Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford look locked in as starters in Buffalo. Behind them, the depth will be highlighted by former first-round pick Khair Elam, who will want to push for more playing time. Plenty of questions sit behind them. I am a little concerned about both, really. I'm concerned about a little bit about safety and corner. Let's hope Cole Bishop is the real deal. Today, I did a video earlier, which I will be posting soon, about or you probably guys already watched it because it'll be the first video up, about Damar Hamlin today training camp. They had him in first reps, which is surprising. That is surprising. It was Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin today doing first reps. So first team reps. So we'll see how Bishop, comes along, because NFL's a different beast, man. So they say certain it's a lot faster than college, right? Some players take a little bit to adjust from college to the NFL. We'll find out if that's the case for Bishop and all the other rookies that we drafted. That's the nature of the beast. But I am concerned. Mike Edwards, yes, Super Bowl champion, Chiefs. He is kind of a ball hawk. He does have interceptions, but I'm not crazy about him either. I'm not crazy about Taylor Rapp. I like Taylor Rapp. I think Taylor Rapp is a good depth safety. He's good to have on the roster. So a player goes down. I thought he was good last year, but he also wasn't a starter last year. We lost a lot of leadership with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer gone. Why do you think Micah Hyde or Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are still saying, hey, Micah, if Micah wants to come back at any time, he can? Because they understand. Because they could say, yo, we're good, Micah. We got our team. They could, or not say anything, pretty much. And we would be like, all right, Micah's not coming back. Right? But they came out and said, yeah, if he wants to play, he's coming back. There's a reason for that, because they need that leadership. I don't know if Taylor Rapp has that yet on this team. I don't know if he can do that. Mike Edwards is new. Can he be that? It's going to be, listen, guys, that safety duo is hard to replace. But I also understand that they got older and the injuries happen and players move on. I get that part too. But I got to be real and say it is kind of concerning that we have a young rookie that we don't know much yet. If the NFL, if he's going to start, I don't know. Right? Mike Edwards is a veteran who is okay. Taylor Rapp, once again, another player. I guess we call him a veteran now, but he also had injuries last year because he's a little bit over aggressive at times. And then you got the corner room. I love Christian Benford. I think Benford has improved every season. But what's going on with Benford? What's the bad? The bad is he can't stay healthy. He gets injured every single season. Right? Then you got Rasul, right? Rasul Douglas. I like him, but it's another year. He's getting a little bit older there, right? I like him, but I don't know if I love him, right? But right now, he is our best corner. He came in last year. He had I think 4 interceptions in a short amount of time in Buffalo. Like I like that, but there's a reason why the Bills only gave him like a small extension. They didn't really give him a long-term deal here. Like I don't know if they're sold on the corner room. And then you got Kyer Elam, who he's like the biggest question mark. And right now, he's just fighting to get a roster spot. I believe he'll make the roster. I believe they're not going to give up on him quite yet. But it's like, man, a first-round selection who's fighting for a roster spot. And then other than that, who else do we got at corner, right? Teron Johnson, love him. By the way, Teron, yeah, I missed him. I should have mentioned him. Teron Johnson, one of the best slot corners in the NFL, no doubt about it. But I'm talking about the edge, right? The outside corners. We're thin. We are thin in that department. Very thin. Now, if the Buffalo Bills, if they can go out and get what's his name? Justin Simmons. Then we're talking at safety. Okay, now we're talking. They're going to have to pay a little bit. There's a reason probably why a team hasn't signed him. He probably wants a decent contract. Even though he's a veteran, he's still playing at a high level. I would say, okay, I could take a deep breath, say safety room's going to be all right. You know what I mean? I would feel very comfortable with Justin with signing here. But I have a feeling Brandon Beane's going to wait it out for these next few weeks. See how camp goes. See how Cole Bishop is. He's going to get the feedback from the DB coach, from Sean McDermott. He's going to see how maybe the first couple preseason games go with the young guy, and then maybe he'll make that decision to sign Simmons. But the problem is, will another team swoop in and sign him? You know what I mean? But we have that money since the Trey White. Since we what was it, June 1st? We've had that money, $10 million sitting there. We could sign him. It's just, I feel like Brandon Beane's waiting. He's waiting to see if these guys can take over that spot and do it well. We'll find out. Anyways, let's get to it. Who are the team leaders? Great question, because we lost a lot of captains. Under the surface, Diggs and Davis leave more holes than others might realize. They were team captains. Their special teamer, Tyler Matakavich, to consider in this area as well. Team captain's name will be an interesting watch. Absolutely. I forgot who all the team captains were last year. Shame on me. But I know Diggs was one of them. Gabe. But listen, certain guys are going to need to take that spot. I think Deion Dawkins, I believe he was a captain last year. He's going to be a captain again. And I think Deion Dawkins, this is a big year for him. I think he needs to be the vocal leader of that offensive line. I think he needs to take over the spot of Mitch Morse, where he is now, the leader of that room, that offensive line group, right? Because it was always Mitch Morse, and everybody knew that. But I think, Deion Dawkins, it's time to step up. Like you've been here the longest. It's your room. You lead that. But as far as other captains go, obviously Josh Allen's going to be a captain. We'll see. We'll see who, I would think Dawson Knox has probably earned that. He's been here a while. On the defensive side, will they make Vaughn a captain? We'll see. I don't know. I think Matt Milano, for me, could be a captain. But the thing with him, he's not really outspoken a lot. But we'll see. Bernard could be a candidate for that. But the safeties, I don't see Rapp being a captain. Maybe, gosh, see, it's tough. I don't know. We're gonna find out who else gets that cap and who gets that C on the chest there. So, great. That's actually good. Good thing to watch out for. All right, next up, calling plays on defense. Head coach Sean McDermott, or new defensive coordinator Bobby Babich. We still don't have the answer, but we will get it eventually. I would assume it's going to be Bobby Babich, but you never know with Sean McDermott. I would hope it's Bobby Babich, right? He was named defensive coordinator. I felt like last year, Sean McDermott took on that role as DC, and I felt like his plate was too full. And I said that going into the season. That was my major concern going into 2023 was, can Sean McDermott juggle both head coach and defensive coordinator responsibilities? And I kind of felt like, at that time when I did that video, that I didn't have faith that he could, because I love Sean McDermott. I do. I think he's a good coach, but I also think he still is trying to find his way as a coach. And I feel like in the playoffs is where he stumbles the most. When the most pressure is on him is when he folds under pressure, right? Makes terrible decisions as a head coach. He needs to figure that out as a head coach. He needs to figure out why he keeps hitting that wall in the playoffs. And I felt like last year, with everything going on, calling defense, being a head coach, offensive coordinator not working out, hit pieces, articles being thrown on him. By the way, not all of it was a lie. There was some truth in that article. Say what I understand you guys didn't like the article, but there's always a little bit of truth in some of these articles that are put out. I'm sure a lot of it was BS, but trust me when I tell you, there was some truth there. But this year, man, please, let Bobby Babich take over, call defensive plays, so you could concentrate on your team, so you could concentrate on what is going on in front of you. Because let's be real, our offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, should have been fired well before the Denver Bronco game. And I was all for Ken Dorsey going into last season. I felt like he got a bad rap the season before, and we were we were top 5 offense. But the facts are the facts. Our offense was stale in 2023. It was not looking good. He should have pulled the plug on Ken Dorsey a lot earlier. But he had all this stuff that he was juggling, wasn't really seeing what was going on in front of him. Why this offense was stalling. Why the players seemed so down. We all saw that, but he didn't see that because he had so much going on between calling play, defense. And by the way, he admitted that. He came out and said, man, I'm in the defensive room. I can't really, yes, because you're doing so much. I don't think you're there yet as a head coach to take on all that responsibility. You know what I mean? You're not a Bill Belichick. You haven't proven that yet. So, Sean McDermott, let Bobby Babich take over. If he's bad, fine. I have no problem with you taking over back as DC. Fine. But, dude, let the dude call the defensive plays. You worry about the rest of the stuff going on around you. All right, next up. Sorry, guys. Go on my little rants, right? Injuries, of course. From the get-go, there will be injuries to monitor. The top one is Matt Milano's leg injury, which I talked about. But it looks like the linebacker will be good to go day one, which he will. Then naturally, throughout training camp, injuries will need to be kept to a minimum, especially considering all the turnover the Bills had this offseason. And that is the end of that article. Thank you to Bills Wire for that. Listen, training camp today, guys. Chase Claypool got hurt. Day one. Pads aren't even on yet. It happens. It sucks. And I feel bad for the guy. I hope it's nothing serious because he won't make the team if it is. This is terrible for Chase Claypool. If I'm Chase Claypool, I'm hoping to God it's nothing bad because he didn't return. We can't keep going through these injuries every season. I get it. Every team goes through them. It's football. It happens. It's a physical sport, man. But we have just had the worst luck when it comes to key injuries, right? Key player injuries. It sucks. It's brutal. and day one already a receiver going down. It's like, what is going on? He's not like a key receiver right now, but I had him making the 53. And I think he can be very useful on this offense. Like, so I'm a little disappointed, but once again, I'll dial it back because I don't know, like, the severity of the injury. I have no idea. It could be a strain. I have no idea, right? We'll find out in days, I'm sure, a couple of days or whatever. But Matt Milano, he'll be ready to go day one, but man, he's had some bad luck. Matt Milano has had bad luck in his career because he's an excellent football player, excellent linebacker, but he just can't seem to stay healthy. He's had the worst luck. Terrell Bernard last year, he was pretty much healthy, and so he got that little ankle thing going on towards the end of the season, which really killed us in that playoff game against the Chiefs, having Milano and Bernard out like that. Andy Reid just sliced and diced this up. He understood what we were missing. He understood we had a guy, and AJ Klein, who was out fishing the day before, right, having to start a linebacker. It was bad. We can't have that happen again. So yeah. Anyways, guys, so that is the 8 things, 8 storylines to watch for. It's a good article. And anyways, guys, training camp's here. I'm super excited. We are a couple weeks away from our first preseason game. So I'm super excited, guys, and I hope you guys are too. So Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.